just real happy for the whole team and everybody around it, the people that have worked for the organization for a long time. I think it means a lot. They get rewarded for the hard work that they've done all year, and it's great to see.
Jarmo, what is
I think the whole coaching staff's done a great job. The message has been the same. They've been emphasizing it. It takes a lot of repetitions and a little bit of success to have the buy-in. And once they started seeing the success, I think the confidence grew and the belief in what we're doing, that it's working, and it's been snowballing ever since.
Jarmo, you saw the potential in this team when you took over. How much did the message that you sent the team on your first day, do you think have an impact, if any?
Well, I hope that it did some, but I think the answer is always in the room, and the coaches are working with the team the whole time, and the leadership group. Those are the guys that have to lead by example and show everybody around them that they're not just the star players, but they're guys that put everything into it every day, whether it's practice or gym or game, and that's where it starts. But we need everybody, and we've had a lot of guys that don't get a lot of accolades. They don't show up a lot on the scoreboard. I could mention Beck Malenstein, for example, a great guy that drives the culture, blocks shots, works his butt off every night, every day in practice. Peyton Krebs, another one that doesn't necessarily show up as a leading scorer, but just a hard-working guy. And, we've talked about it all along, but we have so much skill on this team. But now that we're competing hard and working hard and get contributions from guys like I mentioned, I think he drags everybody into the battle.
Chris Pronger was a great defenseman. Being his pick for the Norris Trophy. You've seen everything Rasmus has had to go through this year, and to see the way he's playing now, what are your thoughts about that? Just what you've seen from Rasmus playing this year.
Well, as I just mentioned, I think he's leading by example and not just on the scoreboard. He's battling. He's playing hard. We've seen some of those very physical games where he showed an example of a leader that puts his body on the line to compete for the team, and that's really important. It's not just the points and the skill that he has. That's obvious, but I think he's earned the respect of the whole league by the way that he's been playing.
Jarmo, what was kind of your mission statement, if you will, to the team when you took over as GM, and how in particular have you seen them fulfill that?
Well, it's not a mission statement that's something new or revolutionary. I believe in character and hard work, and that's something that we've talked about, and I think we have a lot of it on this team. There's a lot of skill, obviously, but the hard work and the compete is really showing right now, and the never say die attitude. We've been down in the games, but we've never really thought that we couldn't come back. It shows in the confidence of the team. We believe in what the coaching staff is telling them to do and asking from them. So, whether we're down by 2 goals or 3 goals or 1 goal, they keep playing the same way and always believe that they're in the game.
You guys have guys in that room who've won cups and have gone on deep runs. You have a lot of guys in that room, including key guys who've never played a playoff game. What is going to be the message from management, from coaches, from their teammates, some of those guys to kind of ride the wave of what's going to happen in the next little while?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because I think part of our strength is that we kind of play free. We trust our instincts, and we have so much skill, and it takes over. But at the same time, when you get into the playoffs, the margins are so small that they really need to buy into the system and know the clock, know the score, the situational awareness I always talk about. And you want them to play free and keep that same freedom that gave them success in their career, and not only this year but before. But at the same time, they also have to learn that when's the right time, what's the right play at this time, at the right time, and what do I need to do right now to win the game, not to score the next goal.
Jarmo, can you appreciate the significance of what this means to the city and to the fan base?
Well, it's pretty easy to see actually what it means to the fan base, and it's been incredible to experience for me. even just like thinking of the April 6th game against Tampa, that felt like a playoff game already. So I can't wait to see if that can be even elevated for the playoffs, because it surely felt like a playoff game already. They've been so supportive, so intense. It's definitely like a seventh player on the ice, the support that they give our players, and I think they all appreciate it.
What have you learned about just watching him now for 3-4 months, just up close?
I think his confidence has been growing all year too. He looks calm, he looks confident in the net. He's got the obvious tools, the size and the goaltending skills that I'm not the best guy to analyze, but just for me, he just looks confident and calm and composed, and those are big qualities for goals.
How much, I'm sure it was a tough conversation around the Olympics to, have him sit out. And, he had that injury. I know he really wanted to be there, but how much did you see that time off kind of benefit him? And it seemed like he came back with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, that's probably a question for him. I'm sure he was disappointed about not being able to play in the Olympics, and we had talked about him before the Olympics that he could be a big part of it, because he was playing so well even before. But obviously he got some extra time to work on his game and get healthy, and so I don't know. If we had a time machine, we could go back and check if he would have been better if he played in the Olympics than he was after resting and all that. But that's probably a question for him.
You saw tape of Thompson's fight. Like seeing his development now, becoming a star player, and every year 40 goal guy, and really being the go-to guy in this club.
Yeah, I won't forget that five goal game. I think it was 6-0 after first period. He's got so much skill, and one thing that I've talked to him about is that he's a very unique player. I don't think there's anybody in the world with that kind of skill, but also that kind of size. If there's anything that I'd like to see more from him, is just also use the size and be a power forward, but he's doing a pretty darn good job with all of his tools. But I say it again, he's a unique player, and I think that there's still room to grow. He's had 40 goal seasons. I think he'd be a dominant player in this league for a long time.
Have you seen the improvement in his defensive game? And I'll pick the other night, the 2-goal game, he hustled back and broke up a 2-on-1 just by hustle and getting back. Have you seen an improvement in his defensive game?
Absolutely. I think that's what it's all about. Those guys are competing for each other, and they know that if somebody makes a mistake, then you got to back it up and have each other's back in many different ways, and that's one of them. When you back check and know that there's an odd man situation, unless you get hustle and get back and support, and that's what they've been doing all year.
What's your reaction to playing the Boston Bruins, a team that beat you 3 out of 4?
I don't think the regular season record really matters at this time of year. I think we obviously analyze the Boston Bruins and see what they're made of, and they're a very good team. They're a physical team. I think that's been part of their success. They get very good goaltending, and it's going to be a tough opponent, and we're going to prepare the best we can to meet the expectations.
Jarmo, what do you make of just the whole East playoff picture, just the way it's turned out, and in some ways turned upside down with Florida and Toronto not in there, and new teams like Buffalo in?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it's I think everybody sees an opportunity here that it could be any team coming out of the East. You got to take it one game at a time, and that's what we're doing all year. We say just one more, and that's how we approach this too.
What was your initial reaction when the Sabres made the playoffs? And then after you got past that, what did the team need to do in the organization to start strategizing for the postseason?
Well, the coaching staff's working on it every day, and we go one day at a time. Today we're preparing for Dallas, and Lindy can answer that question too, what they've been doing. But now, after tonight's game's over, we're going to turn our attention to Boston Bruins and what we need to do to beat them in Game 1, and that's what it's all about.
You've been part of playoff teams before. I'm curious, how valuable you think having a coach with Lindy Ruff's experience is in playoff games, like a guy he's been there, he's coached in a ton of playoff games, he knows the situations, how to adjust. How valuable can that be?
Oh, it's very valuable. Obviously, he knows knows and has been through it, and I think he knows better than anybody about those small margins that I was talking about. That it gets the small margins are going to be even more important now come playoff time than they are in the regular season. And we don't want to take anything away from our style of playing fast hockey and with a lot of skill and intensity, but at the same time we've got to have that situational awareness. I think that's something that Mindy's going to remind the team a lot of.
Jarmo,
Let's take two more.
with the way this group has run together this season, what is the effect that it's had on your job in keeping things together and getting this team to get to this point?
Well, what I do normally is I communicate a lot with the coaching staff. I spend a lot of time with them during the day and before practices, before games, and after the games, and occasionally I have some communication and talks with the individual players, sometimes with a small group of players. But the main thing is that we're kind of looking from management perspective. We're not only looking at this moment and tomorrow and the playoff series. We're also planning for next year and what we need to do to improve. So there's a lot on the plate. It means looking at our prospects, watching Rochester and see where they're at, and the prospects from there, whether they might be ready to play next year, how long it's going to take. Then we get to the combine, and draft, and free agency, and development camp. So it kind of never stops for us, and it's fun.
How much do you
Last
learn
one.
about players when the playoffs start, in terms of when you're evaluating things like that? How much do you see guys?
I'm looking forward to it. I think it will teach us a lot. This is the most important part of the season. I think everybody knows that. Coaches know that. Players know that. Management knows that. And we'll be watching very carefully on how we do in the playoffs. Obviously, it's no secret. Everybody knows that this is the time. Now is the time to show the best we have, the best on the individual level, best as a team.